Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Dear brothers and sisters, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to accept our prayers, my prayers and your prayers, my fasts and your fasts, and enable us inshallah to fast the remaining days of this beautiful month, the month of Ramadan. And I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to enable each and every one of you to come to Mashhad and visit the beautiful shrine of Imam Ali ibn Reza alayhi al-Tahiyyat wa thana. We were talking about Infaq, the beautiful concept that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala taught us in the Holy Quran, and the Prophet of Allah and the Ahlul Bayt, they explained it for us and ordered us to move towards this concept and to make our lives and our societies more and more beautiful, practicing this Islamic, inshallah, principle. We explained what Infaq is and how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling us وَأَنْفِقُوا مِمَّا رَزَقْنَاكُمْ. Now and tonight, inshallah, we're going to talk about some of the impacts of Infaq on yourself and on the society and the community that you're living in. Brothers and sisters, whatever we do in this world, based on the law of cause and effect, has an impact on ourselves and the people around us and on our communities and on our society. When Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has made certain actions, certain acts, an obligation for us, it means that it's going to bring good benefits for ourselves and for our community. It's going to, and the fact that we need it. If we put it aside, if we leave it, we're going to lose a lot. The ahkam of Sharia are based on masalih wa mafasid, as we say in usul al-fiqh, in the knowledge of usul al-fiqh, meaning that when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling you to do something, it's good and you need it, and when He's forbidding you when He's telling you not to do it, it means that it's bad and it's going to harm you. All of the ahkam are based on masalih wa mafasid. What are the impacts that Infaq can leave on us and on our societies? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the Holy Quran says, وَمَا تُنْفِقُوا مِنْ خَيْرٍ فَلَأَنفُسِكُمْ. First of all, this Infaq is going to benefit you more than others. It's going to benefit you because you're going to train yourself not to be attached to this material world. You've worked for this money. You've earned it. You know the value of this money. Maybe your children don't. Maybe your wife doesn't. Maybe people around you, they don't know how much you worked and how much you tried to make this money. Yet at the same time, this money that's dear to you, that you have plans for, and you can't have big plans for, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling you, أَنْفِقُوا مِمَّا رَزَقْنَاكُمْ. This money that I gave you, give it to a needy person, to an orphan, on the way of Allah. On the way of Allah. It's going to make you detached. It's going to detach you from this material world. And once you want to leave this world, you're not detached to this material world. Part of the problem that we have, and a big problem that we as mu'mineen have in this life, is the attachments that we have. We're too heavy. We've become too attached to this world. That's why we don't see the truth sometimes. We see the needy and the orphan people, the orphans of the mu'mineen all around the globe, especially and specifically in the countries that are under war, that are under attack by imperialism and the oppressors, yet we don't do anything. We know what's going on in Yemen. We see the picture of Yemeni kids. We see that they're starving. We see their bones in the pictures. We have money and we're not willing, and we don't even think. We don't even subconsciously think about giving it to them, because subconsciously we're too attached to this material world. We don't even think about them. One of the benefits, one of the impacts of Infaq is that little by little, step by step, it's going to detach you from this material world, and it's going to open your eyes. Brothers and sisters, when the 12th Imam comes, when he tells you to get up, we all know that when he comes at the beginning, it will be a battle. It will definitely be a battle. How can we leave everything that we're too attached to and go and take part in a battle? It's impossible unless you make yourself ready for it. And one of the actions, one of the deeds that can, inshallah, help you to detach yourself from this material world is Infaq. Infaq has many personal impacts that I'm going to skip and go to the social impacts of Infaq. In a society, we need to keep a balance. The government has to make a balance if the government is an Islamic government, where the gap between the needy and rich is not a big gap. And unfortunately, what we see today is a huge gap between those who are super loaded, super rich, and those who are in need. We have the 1% of the rich on top of the society, on top of the government, and a 99% of the working community who are divided to different categories themselves. In Islam, we want to distribute the resources, the wealth between all the different layers of the society in a way that we do justice to them. All right, now that we don't have that, and how to we don't have it at the time, and we're trying to help it to happen. One is by establishing an Islamic government, and two is by doing Infaq. Even when you have that Islamic government, you still have to do Infaq. The wajib Infaq, part of the wajib Infaq is khums and zakat that you have to do. Part of the responsibility of the Islamic government is receiving and collecting this Islamic tax, zakat and khums. It's interesting that the wajib part of Infaq has to be done in public in a way that people see it, people realize it, that this person has paid his zakat, his khums, has done Infaq, and for them to learn that he's doing Infaq. But the recommended part of Infaq, the mustahab part of Infaq, it's better if you do it in private. So even if you have an Islamic government, you still have to do Infaq. Not living in an Islamic government, you do Infaq, you try the needy to elevate and have a better life. And you try yourself, you should try for yourself not to dive deep down into the misery of dunya. As I said, not to get too attached to this material world. So this process of Infaq, this action is actually a process of bringing the lower layers and levels of the society and your community up and making people closer to each other. And when people do Infaq, another aspect of Infaq is this, another impact of Infaq is that it makes the hearts of the believer closer to each other. If you're living in an Islamic community between Muslims, it makes the heart of the believers close to each other. It makes one another to care about each other more. It makes us to care more about one another. And if you're living between the non-Muslims, yet we still have to do the same thing and reach out to them and make them to see the beauty of Islam. Brothers and sisters, most of you guys are living between the non-Muslims. Reach out to the needy of non-Muslims as well and show them the beauty of Islam. The Prophet of Allah said, كونوا دعاة الناس بغير ألسنتكم. Imam al-Sadiq said, كونوا دعاة الناس بغير ألسنتكم وليروا منكم الورع والاجتهاد. Invite people to Islam, to the truth, not only using your tongue, but use your actions. Let them see good from you. Let them see kindness from you. Then they will come to you. Then they will go after the leaders who taught you these beautiful things, and they will grab the book of Allah. They will go after the riwayat and the traditions of the Holy Ma'sumin and the Prophet, and inshallah they will find their path. Inshallah, we'll be talking more about Infaq in the following nights, inshallah. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.